Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Abu Bakr, and in this video we are going to solve the Cambridge International Education uh, Physics 5054 question paper 11 May June 2020 paper 1 multiple choice questions only. So let's start our video. The diagram shows the resultant R of a 3 Newton force and a 4 Newton force that act at a point P. The angle between the 3 Newton force and the 4 Newton force can be any value from 0 to 90. So this angle can vary from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. Which value of R is not possible? So we have to find our resultant force, and then we can eliminate the value of the resultant force which cannot possible. So obviously 4 plus 3 so 7 Newton can be 1 if angle is equal to 90 degrees. And one thing is that the resultant force should definitely be greater than 4 Newton and 3 Newton. So it should be like 6 Newton, 8 Newton, 5 Newton, 9 Newton, like this. 9 Newton and 8 Newton are incorrect. 5 Newton, 6 Newton and 7 Newton can be the possible resultant forces for this. So only a 4 Newton is the left option. 4 Newton, the value of 4 Newton as R is not possible, because we are finding the resultant here, not a single force here. If we are not finding the force on the x-axis, we are finding the collective force here. So 4 Newton is not possible, mean A is the right answer. Which is measured using a micrometer screw gauge? Micrometer screw gauge, I call it micrometer screw gauge. You can simply call it screw gauge as well. Area no, current no, length yes, mass no. So C is the right answer. The graph shows a short journey. It is a speed time graph. So what is the greatest speed reached? So initially Vi is equal to 0, then it goes on increasing till 3, and then the speed becomes constant, and then it starts to fall here. So the highest speed reached air is 3 meters per second. So C is the right answer. A car of weight 11,000 newtons moves with constant velocity, not constant acceleration, constant velocity along a horizontal road. A driving force of 5,000 newtons act on the car. What is the force opposing the motion of the car? So the weight of the car is balanced air, because the car is grounded, the car is not in air. So first thing is that we can eliminate these 11,000 newtons, and then finding the reaction force Fr. So the body is moving at constant velocity. Constant velocity means that there is no change in acceleration. Therefore the force of reaction should be equal to the force of driving, means force of reaction is equal to 5,000 newtons. The car is moving on this direction, but the driving force is 5,000 newtons and the reaction force is also 5,000 newtons, but I mean both forces are balanced, but still the body is moving, but at a constant velocity. This is same as like of the terminal velocity of a parachuter coming down from the sky, means 5,000 newtons is the reaction force. A is the right answer. A man with an open parachute falls to the earth at a constant speed. Yes, the following forces act. So the P is the upward force of the parachute on the man. Q is the upward force on the of the man on the earth. The downward force R is the downward force of the earth on the parachute. So I think the upward force of parachute on the man and the downward force of the earth on the parachute, no, they are not antagonistic. The downward force of the man on the parachute and the upward force of the man on the parachute are antagonistic, are working in a pair, means P and S are the forces which exhibit the Newton's third law of motions, mean C is the right answer. A box is pulled up a rough slope as shown. In which direction does friction act on the box? So what is friction? Friction is a force which opposes the motion. This box is moving on a ramp in this direction, it is moving in B. So obviously the force which is opposing it should be in this direction here, as shown in the option D, and D is the right option. The diagram shows a motorcyclist leaning over in order to turn the corner to the left. So it tries to move this in this direction. Which force causes him to turn? So uh, D and B here. I mean the weight of the body, weight of this motorcyclist. D and B, D is equal to B. D and B are cancelled. Means the it will not move. It is not moving in the air, so D and B are equal, and C and A are not equal. C and A are not equal. If C and A were equal, the motorcyclist would have been moving in the straight direction, but it is moving towards the left. It is moving towards the left, means it is moving towards this A force is responsible for moving this motorcyclist towards the left. So A is the right answer. Which type of force causes the earth to orbit the sun? Elastic, no. Electrostatic, no. Gravitational, yes. Means C is the right answer. Magnetic, no. Four objects of different masses are on different planets. The weight of each object on its planet is determined. Which object is on the planet with the smallest gravitational field strength? So we have to find the value of G here. So what is weight? Weight is mass times G. So mass is 5 times G, 5 times 15 times D, 20 times G, and 25 times G. So 125 over 5, 125 over 5, let me check this. What the heck am I doing? 125 over 5. So 25 is the gravitational field strength here in A. 10 is here, 11 is here, and 25 times 225 divided by 25, and 9 here. Means D is the option. D is the planet in which the gravitational field strength is the minimum. Means D is the right answer. Which physical property does not change when a piece of copper is heated? So density, mass, temperature, and volume or temperature would change. And when a piece of copper is heated, it expands. It expands by volume. It expands by volume. Means its volume increases, and its density, its volume increases. Volume increases and density decreases, whereas the mass remains constant. Means B is the right answer. A single metal bolt has a mass of 34 grams. Three of the bolts are immersed in a measuring cylinder that contains 30 centimeter cube of water. The reading on the measuring cylinder rises to 42 centimeter cube. What is the density of the metal? So each metal bolt has a mass of 34 grams, and we are to find the density here. Three of the bolts are immersed in a measuring cylinder that contains 30 centimeter cube of water. So when these three bolts are immersed in the measuring cylinder, the reading on the measuring cylinder rises to 42 centimeter cubes. Now some of you might derive from here that each of these bolts has a volume of 4 centimeter cubes, but it is wrong. It is wrong because these metal bolts are not identical. Metal bolts are not identical. They are not identical, means each one of them possesses different volumes. So now we have to find a density. For density we have the formula rho is equal to m over v, but here we have the volume of these three bolts. So we will take these three bolts collectively because they are made of the same metal but they are not identical. So the rise in volume here is 12 centimeter cubes for three bolts for three bolts here. So and three uh, mhm, 12 centimeter cube here, and the mass of three bolts would be 34 times 3. 34 times 3, what is 34 times 3? I'm weak in maths. 34 times 3, 102. So 102 over 12 will give us the density of this metal, and uh, 102 over 12 means 8.5 grams. 8.5 grams per centimeter cube is the density of this metal. So D is the right answer. A rocket of mass m, when empty carries a mass m of fuel. So this rocket possesses only a mass m of the fuel, whereas it has no other weight or no other content in it. The rocket and the fuel travel at speed v. The engine of the rocket is fired. All of the fuel is expelled. The speed of the rocket increases to 2v. So what happens to the kinetic energy of the rocket? So for kinetic energy, we have the formula of half mv square, and in this case, the speed of the rocket increases to 2v. So half mass and 2v squares. So half m into 4v square here. So if we check this ordinary, we have kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, and comparing these two equations, we can cut this, we can cut mass, and we can cut this v square as well. Means the rise in kinetic energy is 4. The rise in kinetic energy is 4. So it increases by a factor of 4. Yes, C is the right answer. A car of mass m, car of mass 1000 kg is driven 200 meter up an incline so that it rises 50 meters vertically. The acceleration is 10 meters per second. What is the gain in gravitational potential energy? For gravitational potential energy, we have formula is equal to mgh. So simply 10,000 times 10 is equal to 1 lakh, and 1 lakh times 50 is equal to uh, I'm not sure. 10 again, I am weak in math. So 1000 multiply 10 is equal 1000, 10,000, 10,000, and then multiplying it by 50 means 5 lakh joules will be the raise in the gravitational potential energy. So C is the right answer. A fish is swimming 15 meters below the surface of a lake as shown. The density of the water is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. Atmospheric pressure is 1 lakh pascal. The acceleration is 10 meters per second. What is the total pressure on the fish? So for pressure in liquids, we have the formula rho gh. So thousands multiply 10 into the height is 15. So putting this into the calculator, 1000 multiply 10 multiply 15, so 1 lakh 50,000, whereas the atmospheric pressure is 1 lakh thousand, 1 lakh pascal as well. So 150k pascals plus 1 lakh pascals. So D is the right answer. We have to find a total pressure, not the pressure of the liquid here. The diagram shows a mercury manometer. The tube is open to the atmosphere on the right hand side. The left hand side is connected to a container containing a gas at pressure P. Atmospheric pressure on its own supports a column of mercury of height 756 mm. Which height of column does pressure P on its own support? So we have a manometer here. This is a manometer, and one end of this manometer is connected to a cylinder which has a gas which exerts a pressure, whereas one end is open to the atmosphere, open to the air, and air exerts pressure. Now you can see that this on this hand, on the right hand, the pressure of the air is greater. That's why the mercury is lower in comparison to this. The mercury is lower in right one. Okay. Whereas on the other hand, this gas at pressure P has the mercury column greater than the right hand side. So means that this gas has lesser pressure exerted on the mercury manometer than the air, and the difference here is 60 millimeters. So that's simply 756 minus 60. So the value here is 696 millimeters of mercury. So B is the right answer. In a weightlifting contest, an athlete lifts a metal bar of 20 kg filled with a mass of 80 kg on each end. So total mass here 80, so total mass is 180 kg. The lift from ground to height of 2.5 meter takes 0.50 seconds. The gravitational field strength is 10 newtons per kg. What average power does the weightlifter exert in providing the gravitational potential energy during this lift? So for gravitational potential energy, we have rho g h formula. So putting values once again. Mm, oh, sorry. For potential energy, we have mgh. So 180 times 10. What is the height difference? 180 times g is 10, and 2.5 is the height. So that is uh, 180 times 10 times 2.5. So that is equal to 4500 joules. Now we have to find the power here. So this is energy. So dividing by time on both sides will give us power. So power is equal to 4500 over 0.5 joules. So this is 9000 joules. So power is equal to 9 kilowatts. Means D is the right answer. This is a, this is a tricky question. This is an A star question. Remember this. This is very tricky question. A boy is standing by the side of a lake. The boy drops a heavy stone from a height of 2 meters above the water surface. The acceleration due to gravity is 10 meters per second square. What is the speed of the stone when it hits the surface of the water? So how I would try to solve this? First, I would construct a graph here. So suppose this is graph, and this is the time on this axis, whereas the speed is on the y axis. So the speed of this object, of this stone, is definitely zero, and then it would start to increase until it reaches the water surface. So this is a right triangle, as you can see here. uh, This is a right triangle here. And how we can cover the area under graph here. So we know that this is a right triangle, and for right triangle, area is equal to half into BH. So if we put the values of the B and H here, so it is half, base is time, and height is speed, height is velocity. And and the area under graph here, the height here is 2 meters. So if we check this once again, so this is a speed time graph, as you can see, and this speed time graph will give us the distance in its area, the distance cover here. So the this area is equal to 2, and 2 meters is the distance covered. So if we multiply 2 with 2, so 4 is equal to T times V. And then if you check, you can derive the value of T is equal to 4 over V. Now the slope of this graph, the slope here, this slope will give us the acceleration, this slope will give us acceleration, and the area under graph would give us the distance covered. So this acceleration here, I'm doing this here, so slope is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity, it is 0, is over time is equal to 10. 10 is the acceleration due to gravity here. So V by T is equal to 10. V is equal to 10 times T. So this is the second relation here. And if we put the value of T here, so V is equal to 10 over 4 multiply, no, sorry, 10, V is equal to 10 multiply 4 over V. So that is V squared is equal to 40. This V will multiply with this one, and then I take square root on both sides. So the value, if we, I'm putting this into my own scientific calculator, you can use your own as well. So under root 40, so that is 6.32, means B is the right answer. So now you can see how tricky this question is. It's definitely an A star question. So B is the right answer. In which situation is energy being released by the fusion of hydrogen nuclei to form helium? In the decay of carbon? No. In the radioactive isotope emitting alpha particles? So the, is this released by fusion of hydrogen nuclei? No. It's just a radioactive isotope which is emitting helium particles. It is not by the fusion of hydrogen nuclei. In the center of Earth? No. In the center of Sun? Yes. Due to the heavy temperature, the hydrogen nuclei fuse and helium is formed. Means D is the right answer. The diagram shows a block being pulled up by a slope, uh, by a force F. So this is a ramp, and this block is moving up on this ramp by a force F. The block reaches the new position at the top of the slope. What is the work done by force F in moving the block to its new position? So we can calculate the work done by the change in potential energy. and by simply using the work formula, work is force time displacement, and this displacement should be in the direction of force. As you can see here, this is the force acting and this is the r is the displacement, so simply a is the right answer. Which statement about a mercury in glass clinical thermometer is correct? It covers a much larger range than an ordinary lab thermometer. This is not true for all cases. It is more sensitive than an ordinary lab thermometer. Yes, it is more sensitive than an ordinary lab thermometer. Its scale is not linear. No, it is linear. Its sensitivity is affected by constriction in capillary tube. I'm not sure about this one, but definitely it is more sensitive than the lab thermometer. Means B is the right answer. Which description of a dull black surface is correct? So we know that a dull black surface is both a good emitter and a good absorber. So B and C, D are incorrect. Whereas it is a poor reflector of heat. It is a poor reflector of heat radiations, or simply radiation you can call that. So C is the right answer. The temperature of a body increases by 1 degree C. Which other quantity also increases? So heat capacity, no, heat capacity is MC, so it would not increase. Internal energy would be increased. Specific heat capacity, now some of you might put this right as well, but specific heat capacity C is equal to Q over m delta T, and if the temperature is increased, the value of specific heat capacity would decrease, not increase. So C is also incorrect. Specific latent heat, no, it would not increase as well. So B is the right answer. The thermal energy produced by an electric heater in 3 minutes is used to melt wax. The solid wax is uh, initially at its melting point of 60 degrees C, and the specific latent heat of the wax is 220 joules per gram. So the heater supplies 7700 joule of thermal energy to the wax. Some of the wax melts. How much of the melt wax? So by the formula of heat latent heat, as it is melting here, we have the values. Heat is equal to m times L. So where L is the specific heat capacity, I think. So 7700 over 220 is equal to the value of mass. So checking this in the calculator, 7700, oh, 7700 divided by 7700 divided by 220, so 35 grams is the amount of melt waxed at this temperature. So D is the right answer. Which row explains why a liquid has a fixed volume but does not have a fixed shape? Movement of molecules in the liquid free to move within the liquid, yes. Vibrate at fixed positions, no. So we can eliminate B and D. The force between the molecules in the liquid is large, not small. It is smaller in gases. So A is the right answer. A fixed mass of gas is enclosed in a cylinder by a piston which is free to move. Which combination of changes to the pressure and the temperature must increase the density of the gas? So density is equal to mass times velocity, mass over volume, and we have to increase the density of the gas. Therefore, the volume should be reduced, and volume is indirectly related with pressure by Boyle's law, and directly related with temperature by Charles' law. So volume, the temperature should decrease, and that would also decrease the volume. So temperature should decrease, and the pressure should increase. The pressure should increase, and the volume would decrease, and the density would increase. Means C is the right answer. Light enters a glass block at an angle incidence and it produces an angle of refraction R in the glass. Several different values of I and R are measured and a graph is drawn of sine I against sine R. Which graph is correct? So B and C are automatically wrong because they are not in direct relation. They do not symbolize a direct relation. So B and C are wrong. Among A and D, one is the right answer. If I want to check the values here at 0.5 of sine R, we have approximately sine I is equal to 0.7 or 0.75 here, and using the gradient is equal to y over x, so that is 0.7 over 0.5. So 0.7 divided by 0.5, so that is 1.4. And yes, the gradient is almost 1.5, means A is the right answer. Why B is wrong, I can still check this for you. At 0.5 of sine R, the sine I is 0.35 something, 0.35, let's suppose. So 0.35 over 0.5, which is equal to the gradient, and definitely it is smaller than 1. 0.35 divided by 0.5, so 0.7 here, and it is smaller than 1.5, and it is approximately is equal to 1.5, means A is the right answer. A swimming pool is lit by an underwater light. A ray of light is incident on the water surface. What is the correct path for the ray of light? So this is the light source, and it is moving from denser medium, denser to rare medium. So the ray of light should bend away from the. This is the normal here. So it should bend away from normal, away from normal. So it should bend uh like this one here. It should bend like this, or like this. And so B and A are incorrect. D is also incorrect. C is the only left option. And why C is true? Because the light would reflect like this, and then it would like reflect like this, it like this, and again it would start to deflect, and that is why the swimming pool is lit by the underwater light. So this is one the main reason why this swimming pool is lit, means C is the right option, and it is the right option. The light should have been traveling away from normal, but it is not. So definitely it is totally internally reflected, and this total internal reflection is responsible for the lighting of the swimming pool by the underwater light source, means C is the right answer. Which diagram shows the action of a converging lens on a parallel beam of light? So converging lens would converge them. B has no effect shown. A diverges them. C again is wrong. D, yes, D converges them to a point. So D is the right answer. Which feature of red light compared with that of light? What is the feature of red light compared with that of the violet light? So we know that when we write VibGear, V has the highest frequency. I always memorize this by V has the highest frequency and shortest wavelength, highest frequency, shortest wavelength, whereas R red on the last has the lowest frequency and the highest wavelength. So it red light has a lower frequency. So B is the right answer. This is a simple trick you can use as well. What is the ratio of the longest sound wave audible to the healthy human ear to the shortest? So audible frequency range highest is 20,000 and the lowest is 20. So 10 would cut another and 2 would cut another. So cut 2. So 1,000 into 1 means B is the right answer. Ultrasound is used to clean jewelry in a liquid. What is another use of an ultrasound? Optical fiber communication. No light is involved here. Prenatal scanning. Yes. B is the right answer. Sunbeds. No. Telephone communications are made by radio waves. So B is the right answer. Bar magnets and various non-magnetic and demagnetized metal bars are placed in the different arrangements. In which arrangements do the bar repel? So N would be N would be made, oh sorry, S would be made here, and this would attract. Similarly, S would be made in this copper and these would attract. These are already attracting. N with S and S with N. D, N would repel. N means D is the arrangement in which the bars repel. So D is the right answer. There is a varying current in the coil of the loudspeaker shown. The loudspeaker is producing a sound. The magnet is clamped. So with what is vibrating to produce the sound? So there is a varying current in the coil, as he has said earlier. There is a varying current and the magnetic field would differentially attract the current in the coil in irregular pattern. So this coil would vibrate definitely, and this coil is attached to the cone. This coil here is attached to the cone. So once the coil starts vibrating, the cone will also do. So coil and cone both would start vibrating to produce the sound, means D is the right answer. Two insulated and uncharged metal sphere X and Y are touching. A positively charged rod is held near X and then the spheres are moved apart. X has now negative charge. So X has now negative charge. What is the charge on the Y? Charge on the Y should definitely be positive and it should definitely be equal to the same size as that on X. So D is the right answer. A stationary negative charge in an electric field experiences an electric force in the direction shown. What is the direction of the electric field? So this is an electron, and we know that an electron always travels in an opposite direction to the electric field. Since it is moving towards the right, means the electric field is acting towards F. So A is the right answer. A battery consists of three identical cells in a parallel, so in parallel arrangement. What is the unit of EMF and what is the EMF of the battery equal? So joules per coulomb is the electric motive force unit, and EMF of the battery is equal to the EMF of one of the cells. Why it is EMF equal to the EMF of one of the cells? Because these three cells are connected in parallel and they are identical, means the voltage would be same in all of them. So it would not create a difference if the these cells are connected in parallel. The voltage will remain same, the EMF will remain same. So B is the right answer. The sum of EMFs of the three cells would have been true if there was a series arrangement. So B is the right answer. The nuclide notation for an isotope X is AZX. How many neutrons are there in the nucleus? So simply, if we minus the atomic number from the atomic mass, we get the number of neutrons. So B is the right answer. Radioactivity is used in several activities that take place in hospitals. Which activity never uses radioactivity? So the environment is the hospital here. So cooking meals will, why would cooking meals require radioactivity? Why would this involve radioactivity? Means A is the right answer. Diagnosing illnesses. Now some of the hospitals contains CT scans and MRI machines and X-ray machines, and this involves the radioactivity. Sterilizing equipment is another thing that is carried by the UV rays, and by different rays and different kind of radioactive substances are used to sterilize equipment in the hospitals. So C is also incorrect. Treating illnesses, suppose someone has a brain tumor, and then the cobalt 60 radioactive rays are used to treat this cancer, and they will be used for the treatment of cancer. So treating illnesses also may involve radioactivity, whereas cooking meals is the only left option which does not involve any kind of radioactivity. Suppose we are in the kitchen of the hospital and there is not any radioactive substance present, and why should it be there? So A is the right answer. uh, Carbon 14 is a natural radioactive isotope of carbon and is present in all living things. It has a half life of 5700 years. How old is a bone? It is found to have 1 by 4 natural proportion of carbon 14. So it has 1 by 2 times 1 by 2, so 2 half lives. So multiply 5700, so 11,400 years is the age of this radioactive substance. So B is the right answer. A kettle is connected to 240 voltage main supply using a plug containing a 13 ampere fuse. The kettle contains water. When it is switched on, the fuse blows. This happens against after a new fuse is fitted. Means a large current is passing here. So that's why the fuse is blowing continuously. And someone illiterate replaces the fuse with a nail and the kettle works. So uh, he has temporarily figured out the solution, but it has serious effects. What else might happen? So now we are to find the effect. What else might happen as a result of replacing the fuse with the nail? Since a very large current is passing, there may be an induction of fire. So a very large current overloads the wiring, causing a fire. Yes, this is a possible effect. The kettle boils the water less quickly. No, same current is passing through the wire. Uh, um, the kettle, no, the kettle would. There is different current passing through the wire. There is a high current passing through the wire, but the kettle would still use the same amount of current which it initially requires. So B, C, and D are incorrect. A is the option, and this replacement of fuse with a nail allows a large current to pass through the wiring, and this would induce a fire in the circuit. So A is the right answer. So that's all for our today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, and that's all for our today's videos. Stay updated for the upcoming videos and past papers. Thank you all. Allah Hafiz.